top 10 things we learned watching number one on the call sheet. Now on Apple TV Plus. Hi, I'm Garcia.
I'm Telly.
We are the HerCastleGirls.
Hi there.
Welcome to Her Castle Confidential, where we decode pop culture. Pop culture is decoded here.
Right here.
Welcome to our channel. Comment, like, and subscribe.
You know what to do, so just do it. We are back.
We are back after a bit of a hiatus. We're fresh and we've got some great pop culture to talk about. We also have some upcoming true crime chats coming up.
Of course, we didn't stop watching movies and watching documentaries. We were doing a whole heap of that. And one show that we watched that we really felt, the hit home for us, clearly because, hello, we're black women, we got a chance to watch number one on the call sheet, starring a whole heap of
our people.
So, a lot of our people.
Yes, this film explores the experiences of leading black actors in Hollywood.
Yeah.
With part one centered on black men.
Right.
And part two centered on black women.
Yes.
And this is truly very just an eye-opening documentary. If you work in the arts or if you are interested in pop culture and the business of pop culture, you will find this documentary to be very interesting. Of course, there are so many great artists in this documentary that you love, from Angela Bassett, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Jamie Foxx, Halle Berry, Kevin Hart,
Davis.
Yeah, like there are so many people. Whoopi Goldberg, Denzel Washington. There's lots of mentions of Sidney Poitier. So there's so much in there. But while you're watching it, you can't help but leave with some learnings. We are going to talk about the top 10 things we learned from watching number one on the call sheet.
Let's do it.
One of the first things we learned is the importance and the meaning truly on being number one on the call sheet and what that means. So for those that you may not understand the industry or know, but number one on the call sheet basically means that you are the first person on the call sheet. So there's a call sheet every day.
Yep.
And on that call sheet, it says who is going to be on set that day.
Yes.
If you're number one, that means you're literally on the call sheet every day because you are the star of the film.
You're the face.
You are the important person on set. That's what it means to be number one on the call sheet. Yeah. Now, this is what every actor wants in life.
Oh my gosh,
right?
yeah.
They want to be number one on the call sheet. They want that notoriety. They want that fame. But after watching this film, and Telly, let me know if you agree.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I feel that being number one on the call sheet is so much more important than even the fame aspect.
Stress. Like, think of like a CEO.
Right? Yeah.
Kind of like that. Like, I don't know, name your favorite company or whatever. Like, I don't know, if your favorite store is Zara, let's just say. And, if anything goes wrong with Zara, everyone's looking to the CEO or the project manager, who's ever put in charge of whatnot. Yeah. So not only is your name like on this movie, but let's say that it was an Avenger. Great, Captain America, the latest one.
With Anthony
Mackie. Let's say that. Now let's say the movie was like horrible. Now mind you, he didn't write it.
Right.
He didn't come up with the idea. He just starred in it. That's all. He's just the face of it.
Right.
But let's say the movie was so bad,
just rough. Yeah.
Just horrible. And instead of everyone complaining about the writer or about, I don't know, the person that came up with the idea or cursing off Walt Marvel, they're like, no, we're turning to Anthony.
Falls on Anthony.
It's such a huge responsibility. And even though you're just the actor, and you have nothing to do with,
Yeah, but you're the face.
You're the
famous person. You're the one that was on the cover of Vogue last night. It does come with responsibility. Not just how the film performs, but even the vibe on the set.
Yeah!
This is why Blake Lively and
there's some hot water right now. There's stuff going on.
There was stuff going on, and it's like, y'all are the stars. You're responsible for that vibe on set. And I feel even more pressure when you're a black person, because you're just like how many opportunities, even now, it's like, how many opportunities do Black actors get to be number one on the call sheet? There's not enough of those opportunities. So the stress in having that on your back is a lot. Second thing we learned is representation has been hard won.
Ooh, boy,
so sometimes because, you know, we're all younger, right?
Yeah.
Like, we don't really understand how, you know, the meaning of having Black actors being number one on the call sheet.
Yeah.
We've been very lucky enough, you know, to, even in our childhood, we saw people like Eddie Murphy be a star in his own films.
Yeah.
And we forget that it wasn't too long ago, just a generation before, you know, our generation, they didn't see a lot of Black people number one on the call sheet unless it was some highly independent movie being made by, you know, Black creators, Black directors, Black writers.
It's true. And it'd only be shown to our community. Right. Like other races, other communities didn't see these, you know, Black films or Black artists. So, yes, we were seeing it, but you want the whole world to see it.
You're reminded through watching the documentary, you're reminded that, wow, you know, Halle Berry won the Oscar, and it was a huge historical moment. And it's like, this is how long it took for this moment to happen.
I'm glad you brought that up. Because the first Black woman to ever win it, she was in Gone with the Wind. She played the maid.
Yes.
And she won Best Actress. And that was like, God knows, that movie, Gone with the Wind, is older than the Wind itself. Like, the movie's old. So to know that from, like, God knows when, up to, like, I think Halle Berry won it, and I can't remember the year, but we'll put it somewhere.
But yeah.
You can always look it up as well. It was a big gap. And since Halle Berry won, you know, Best Leading Actress, no other Black woman has won Best Leading Actress. Supporting, yes. But lead, we're still...
I know that everyone's like, oh, you know, everything has to be, you know, about Black people. But it's not just a matter of Black people. Because if Black people aren't getting nominated, neither are Asians, neither are Indians, neither are Filipinos.
Yeah, like other races are being ignored.
Races.
Yeah.
And that is the whole meaning of it all. It's like, if we're only making room for a specific group of actors that look a specific way, that means there's no path for Indigenous people to win this award. We've seen recently that, you know, yes, there are more Indigenous people, but there could be a lot more.
There could be a whole lot more. And that's the thing, too. The table is huge. There is room for everyone at this table. I know that the world of acting, it's big, but it's small.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that, you know, everyone's just trying to fight for their, you know, that little piece that they can get their hands on. It's acting, in the acting world, it's tough. It is. And it's even more tough when you are not when you're not white.
Yeah, you don't have nepotism on your side. Yeah. You don't have big money coming from a source on your side.
Exactly.
It is very much based on your talent.
It is.
But, you know, when Hollywood, you know, still has a type, which we'll walk into in a second, no matter how talented you are not gonna even get an audition. It's lonely at the top for Black actors.
It
is the next thing that we learned.
Small.
Yes. So, and let's talk about this because
small circle.
So, Telly and I have worked in TV and in film. You know, we've worked in music as well.
Yes, we have.
And even on set, even when you're not number one on the call sheet, it is still a struggle. I've been on sets where definitely I was the only Black girl.
Yes, girl.
And the makeup person had no idea what to do with my hair. Had no idea what shade to use on my face for makeup. A lot of times I carried my own makeup bag. Yeah. And I did my own hair because they didn't know.
They don't know, especially back then. They didn't know what to do.
I remember there was one TV show. It was a Black TV show filmed here in Canada.
Oh, yes.
And they actually had Black makeup artists, Black hairstylists, because the show was made by Black people.
Right, yes.
But every other production, it was like,
just on your lip and some mascara. And what can we do with this?
Yeah. So the isolation of being alone, whether it's in the casting meetings, on set, or at award shows, it's very isolating, and it can be, even though it's supposed to be empowering, it can also be very exhausting.
It can, because you're kind of like campaigning to, to say, hey, you let me in. There's so much more talented Black creators that are out there that are like killing the game, and they want to come in, like, open the door. You opened it for me, why won't you open it for everyone else? And because of that, and that's why, if you ask someone, name your favorite Black actor, they normally just name like 2.
Will Smith and Denzel Washington.
Yeah, and they'll say like Halle Berry as their favorite, because that's all they know.
That's all they know.
It's just in recent years, people are learning about Viola Davis and Angela Bassett, although they've been acting for years. They've been in this game.
Think about being the only Black person at your job. You know, and that's also been a thing.
I've been through that.
Yeah, I've been through that, where you are the Black guy, the Black girl that is at the office, and no one else understands what Juneteenth is.
No one else understands.
No one says, wow, Black History Month, like, what does it mean? There's no one asking these questions. No one cares or even sees your ethnicity or your culture. So that's something to help you understand, because I know sometimes we think Hollywood is so far away, but really it is just a place of work. It's a set instead of a boardroom or whatever. The next thing is, now we're going to hit on Hollywood still has a type. The stereotypes, depending on the film, still rule the world. So Black actors often get put into specific roles. Athletes, criminals, comic relief, prostitutes, drug dealers.
We're always in some negative light.
And what's difficult about it is, like, okay, especially for actors, they want to make sure they work. Because we know that
bills to pay.
Right, and the work it's not like they're out here hiring 20 Black actors to be in a movie, right? Maybe they're hiring 3. If that. Black actors are no different than any other race actor. They want to play the complex roles.
Absolutely.
They want to dig into characters and really create a person that people can see on screen and be moved by.
Yes.
But Black actors are like, but I also need to pay my bills. And no one is writing a part about, a character like Bruce Wayne or, Patrick
Bateman
from American Psycho. These roles are all, taken up by white men. So Black actors aren't getting the chance to be the Aaron Brockoviches. They're not getting the chance to play these roles that every actor wants to play, regardless. These aren't being offered to Black actors. This usually goes towards white actors. My thing is that Hollywood has a type because Hollywood is still led from the top, is still led by people who can't see beyond white.
And it's also like they they'll reward you for sticking with the formula.
Right.
For Hollywood, they're so used to Black actors and actresses playing the cocaine head, the baby mother with 16 kids, the mother,
all of the stereotypes,
everything that you mentioned before.
Yeah.
And we get rewarded for it. It's like, you get an Oscar.
That's when we get the Oscar.
That's when Halle Berry and Denzel Washington get the Oscar.
That's when they got their Oscars. They didn't get it. He didn't get it for Glory, which people said he should have gotten it for that. Halle Berry had to be the, not the so great character in a film and expose her body in order to be nominated for a film.
We're there, we're not there.
Exactly.
So,
that's definitely one of the learnings, right? Another thing we learned is the importance of mentorship. So we learned that, the older generations, the Denzel Washingtons, the Viola Davises of the world, are actually showing up for the younger Black actors. Not only actors, but casting agents, talent agents, people
lawyers.
That work in editing, the entertainment lawyers. They're showing up for them and making sure that the room starts to look a bit more colorful.
Exactly.
And I love that you mentioned that, the lawyers and the casting agents, because a lot of people forget Hollywood, the actor, no offense, this is of no offense to actors.
Oh yeah, no.
Actors are the least of it. There is a lot going on
there is.
on a set
There is.
I mean, the actor doesn't have a job unless the casting director decides to cast them.
And you know, this is why it's so important to have mentorship, to have that person that will say, you know, no, I want this person in this film. Because the sad part is when you see someone acting their lungs out and you know that role is perfect for them, but they're like,
you know,
they're great, but
yes.
And I was like, here we go.
Right, exactly. And this is why mentorship is so important. Chadwick Boseman, R.I.P., he always told the story of how he didn't really know this. He found out later that Denzel Washington was the person to pay for his way in acting school.
Yeah.
He did not know this.
Denzel just out here like
mentoring
everybody. Go ahead, Denzel.
I mean, he's also done it. Well, not that, but he has helped even white actors.
He's helped white actors. He's helped everybody.
Seen, you know, where he's seen ambition, where he sees a hard worker.
Yeah.
He's like, this person deserves a blight, and he'll pick up the phone and say, you should hire that person. So
that's Denzel.
You know, that's Denzel. He's a mentor, and that's what Hollywood needs, especially for black actors.
Absolutely.
The power of saying no.
Listen.
This was a big one. Because we just talked about how, because Hollywood has a type, a lot of black actors can't really see themselves saying no to playing the stereotypical roles because they need to pay their bills. However, there are actors that went ahead and said no to certain roles because they didn't want to perpetuate those harmful stereotypes.
Yes.
I think Viola Davis and Angela Bassett spoke of roles that they turned down or things that they turned down.
I believe it was them.
Because they were like, well, I'm tired of having to be out here showing up in this way. Yeah. And, you know, I think of films like Hidden Figures, where Taraji P. Henson and Janelle Monáe played women that are very aspirational. You look at that and you're like, I want to learn math.
Said no one ever.
You know what I mean? It's like those are the roles that...
Thank you. That's it. Those are the roles where you're like, oh, you know, it's leveling up.
For me, 688.
Such a good
You know, those kinds of films where the black actor is sinking into a role.
And it's funny you mentioned that because that was from Tyler Perry.
A black
creator. Which we need more of because they're not afraid to say and to have the money to back the project. Right. So if no one wants to invest, they can say, okay, that's all right. I got investors or I got the cash. Let's back this.
And that's why, you know, as much as on our channel we've talked a lot about Tyler Perry, but we did praise him for that.
688 was good though.
688.
That was good.
And, you know, we praise people like Issa Rae and Kerry Washington because they're out here producing stories that are black. Yes. And black stories are best told by black people. So we need more of that. And then we'll have characters and roles where black actors don't need to say no.
Exactly. We all need money. But you also got to think about, like you were saying, your integrity and what this looks like later on down the line. Because all you need to do is this one bad role. You say yes to it because you need money. And that's your last
Yeah, and it ruins your entire career.
Oh my God.
Number 7, being number 1 requires emotional intelligence. And I think this is important because a lot of people, there's a stereotype of actors where it's like they just walk around being pompous and they just get everything they want. But the reality is that...
Sorry.
The reality is that, you know, beyond acting, there is an emotional intelligence where you, as the actor, need to know how to talk to people.
Yes.
How to negotiate.
Yep.
How to resolve conflicts. How to create a safe, welcoming workplace. Because like we were saying earlier, everyone looks to you. If the set is trash and your name is Halle Berry. Halle Berry's the name that's going to come up when... So how was that set? Oh, she was so mean. Kelly Rowland is the actor. Oh, she was so mean to me.
Yeah,
and
it comes back.
You know, my lunch lunch was cold, and you know Kelly Rowland.
It's all Kelly Rowland's fault.
Oh, Kelly Rowland's movie.
Also, just check yourself. It's very easy to get your head inflated by all the people around you, and you know they're giving you what you want, which is your ego to be elevated, because they want you to get pumped up to play this part for whatever it is. And you have to be careful, because once the film is done and once the lights are off and the director goes home and the writers are like, okay, peace out, you're literally now back to yourself unemployed.
Yeah.
Emotions have to be in check with yourself, especially when you're the color that we are. You have to say to yourself every day, you know what? I'm gonna be okay.
I matter, I'm worthy, I deserve these roles, whatnot. Number 8.
8.
There is no success without advocacy.
That's true.
Even as successful actors, I think that the most successful ones are Idris Elba's. You think of, The Rock. You think of Kevin Hart. At the end of it all, they are activists, they're producers, and they're change makers that are constantly pushing for systemic change in the industry. So right now we all think that, you know, these actors, they're just famous, and now they're just getting roles because they're famous. But it's a constant push and a constant fight, and it's very interesting, you know, bringing in when you look at actors that are not American.
Yeah.
Which they definitely had in this documentary. You should go watch it. You look at someone like an Idris Elba, who is British, and not only are you looking at a black guy, but you're looking at a black guy that has a British accent.
Yeah.
And, you know, everyone remembers him from The Wire. That's how he became famous.
Yeah.
And he had a great American accent.
Yes.
That's why it worked for him. Because he's an advocate and he's constantly out here pushing the narrative. Again, we have the producers, we have the Kerry Washingtons, we have the Jamie Foxxes. Because they're pushing for change, we start to see change.
Exactly.
Denzel said recently that, you know, he's going to make 5 more films and they're going to be, you know, black directors. They're going to be black written. That's a push for advocacy. I do think that as black actors, they got to be there for each other. And if they got to continue to push that narrative, they got to come together. Yes.
And that's our weakness right there. And y'all can come after us all you want, but you know, you're only mad because it's true. We as a people have a tendency to not want to come together because we want to say, well, who's leading what? And I don't want that person to get the role. I'm going to keep this to myself because I don't want my other black sister or my black brother to have the same opportunities I have. Why are we like this?
A writer,
don't matter.
Whether you're a producer, whether you're a director, casting, entertainment, makeup artist, stylist, whatever you are in the industry. If you're a YouTuber that likes to YouTube about films.
So saying hands across America, saying hands across the movie sets.
Yeah, people have to work together because it's not going to work any other way.
It's not.
Number 9. Visibility isn't equality. So just because we see more black faces on screen, it doesn't mean that the system is now fixed. Exactly.
Right.
There are still pay gaps.
Woo-hoo!
There's still lack of creative control. Woo-hoo! And behind the scenes exclusion are still issues.
Yes.
So, pay gaps. Some people are making $7 million while the person that co-stars in the film.
Almost the same amount of lines.
And they're making $700,000.
Make it make sense.
Okay, their fame is about the same. We're not talking about someone that's a new actor versus, you know, an old legacy actor. We're talking about actors that are in the same, you know, they've been working around the same time. Yes. They've both been in #1 films. Yep. They both maybe did Avenger movies that made $300 million in like a week. But there's still this pay gap, and the pay gap is simply based upon the fact that one is maybe the lighter persuasion than the other one.
Right.
Lack of creative control. So, like we were saying, we need more black directors. We need more black producers.
Yes.
These are the people that will make sure the black story gets made. You know, black stories are told by black people. Malcolm X, you like that movie? A black person was the one that brought it on screen.
Hey, Spike Lee.
A white person wasn't going to do that.
And if they did, I don't think it would end up the same.
No, and I don't think a white person would want to.
I don't think they'd want
Not
to.
just because they don't want to.
Out of respect.
But because they would be like, I can't really identify with the feeling of portraying this man on screen.
Exactly.
Just because we see more black faces, it's a good thing.
That's good.
But there's still a lot of problems, and pay is a big one.
Pay is a major one.
Yeah, we have some black actors that are incredible, that have been in some Oscar award-winning movies.
Oh my gosh.
And they've admitted that, yeah, I'm broke.
They lost their home. How?
You were literally in, like, The Gladiator, and
now you have no money.
You have no money because no one will hire you.
The original.
There's still major issues that need to be solved. And as I always say, when you think of Hollywood and you think of the top major people on the top level of what films get made, what scripts get read, what books become movies, most of these people are white.
Most of them. And even if they're looking for a black actor or actress, they usually choose the same black people.
So again, needs to change. We need to see new black faces. Yes, we love Michael B. Jordan. And we're happy that he's here. But there are so many other black actors that are just under the surface.
They're just they're about to pop off.
Yes.
10.
There is hope.
There is always hope.
There's hope and power in storytelling. So after you watch this whole documentary, sure, we went through all these learnings, but one thing I loved about it is how they kept on talking about how storytelling is changing culture, and it's allowing our culture to be more known to other cultures, which unites us as people in general.
Yeah, it's almost like, so you know what it's like? It's like a kid, and this is so silly, but it's like a kid in show and tell. And they're so excited just to show their little toy. And they're just excited because they know that when their friends see it, their friends are going to be like, oh my gosh.
And it's like, I now know you and understand you because I know that you love this thing.
Exactly. And then that makes it relatable, and then they're going to run and tell, I don't know, their best friend. Like, even actually in the documentary, spoiler alert, I forget what movie it was. I think it was a Will Smith film, and I don't know if it was Men in Black or Independence Day. But they're basically saying that black films don't do well overseas.
Right.
So why did they say that? Because come on. But somehow they said, you know what, let's put it overseas. And the way how this movie took off.
Yeah, to be honest, Independence Day, to be honest with you, I think it was Independence Day, you know, a lot of his films have done very well internationally. Yeah. And I loved that part when it was like, oh no, people overseas,
they watch black films.
Will watch, you know, a black led film.
Oh yes.
There are many movies when I think of like Fast and the Furious.
Oh my gosh.
You know, like it has a lot of black people in it, and it killed at the box office. Avatar, which starred, you know, a black woman. Yes, there's a lot of
Zoe Saldana. That's right.
Zoe Saldana. There's a lot of like animation and CGI. However, there is a black Latina woman in a main role in this film, and it did. I mean,
billions of dollars.
It's still one of, I believe, the top
1 and 2.
When we put them in a room with Will Smith, and you put in Denzel, and you put in Halle, and you put in Viola, and you put all these people, and you equal out how much money these movies have made, including Sinners right now, which is starring Michael B. Jordan, and you think of these films and the money that they've made, Avengers, Captain America, and you put it all in there, and you calculate that. So think about that. Think about, oh, no one overseas wants to see black people act.
Who said? Because they're just assuming that, well, black people, who knows black people overseas?
Yeah, and who knows what they know? I guess they thought there were no black people.
Maybe they thought that we weren't everywhere, but we're everywhere. If you didn't know, you know now. We are international. We are everywhere.
Yes. Because it doesn't matter. You know, when you look at a movie where there's a black person down on their luck and they need money, a white person who's down on their luck and needs money, they're going to relate to that character.
Absolutely.
Regardless
of
race.
Skin tone.
And I think that's where Hollywood needs to get. It's the story. It's the strength of the story.
That's it.
And telling it in a way that is genuine.
That's it. If the idea is relatable, then everyone will relate to it. The same way if you have an all-white cast, but the problem is real, everyone else, every other race that says, oh yeah, I can identify with that. But definitely watch the documentary.
Watch the documentary. It is very eye-opening. And let us know in the comments below which black-led performance changed your perspective on black actors.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear what you think and, your favorite black-led performance. Let us know in the comments. Spill
let us know.
the tea.
Who was it? Was it Sidney Poitier? Was it Halle Berry?
Was it something in the 60s? Was it something in the 90s?
Something week?
Recent, maybe?
An independent film that maybe we just don't know about?
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. It's nice to be back.
It is. We missed y'all. Nice.
And, of course, make sure you comment, like, and subscribe to our channel. We have fully rebranded. We're now Her Castle Confidential. So be sure to continue to watch us. Stick with us.
Subscribe. Put on the notification bell so you never miss an episode, because we're going to be talking about some stuff where you don't want to miss it.
Make sure you stay fabulous and watch great films. Bye.